Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's not every day that a suave camera-ready star like Mark Consuelos admits to having a full-blown existential crisis, and all because of a few missing words. But if you think the former Riverdale dad and current Live with Kelly and Mark co-host spends his days gliding through life without a stutter, think again. Even the most seasoned performers can have their confidence shattered in a split second. And for Consuelos, that split second came on a night when the stakes were high, the lights were bright, and the silence was deafening. And when Mark tells the story, it's equal parts cringe, comedy, and life lesson. The setup, a star on stage, was supposed to be a flawless evening, the kind of performance where Mark could flash his trademark charm, deliver his lines with precision, and then bask in the applause like the theater pro he is. This wasn't his first time acting under pressure after all. This is the man who cut his teeth on All My Children in the 90s, memorizing pages of dialogue overnight. But this gig was different. The script was short but punchy. The scene a tense, emotional exchange depended entirely on Mark's ability to keep the rhythm flowing. The lines weren't just words. They were the heartbeat of the moment. And yet, somewhere between the start of Act 1 and his big entrance, Mark's brain decided to take a vacation. The moment of doom, Mark walked onto the stage, confident as ever. The audience was quiet, leaning in. His scene partner delivered their cue with all the gravitas of an Oscar winner. All Mark had to do was step forward and speak. Except nothing came out. I opened my mouth, and it was just wind, Mark later confessed, miming the exact stunned look he had that night. My brain was like, nope, we're not doing that today. He tried to salvage it, willing the words to appear from the dusty corners of his mind. They didn't. Instead, time seemed to slow down, though the panic sped up. His scene partner glanced at him, eyebrows slightly raised, as if to say, Mark, buddy, this is your line. The audience, blissfully unaware at first, until the silence stretched long enough to become awkward. The existential spiral. Mark describes what happened next as an out-of-body experience mixed with a philosophical meltdown. In the space of a few seconds, his mind began racing, not with the script, but with questions like, why am I here? Who even am I? Is my career over? Do I still have time to run for the exit before anyone notices? Why didn't I become a park ranger instead of an actor? It was like my brain jumped straight past forgetting your lines into what is the meaning of life. Mark laughed, all while standing in front of 200 people staring at me like I was a marble statue. The rescue mission muscle memory kicked in, sort of. After what felt like an eternity, Mark blurted out a version of his line. It wasn't word for word, but it got the job done. I think I mashed together 3 different sentences from 3 different scenes, he admitted, but the audience bought it. Or maybe they were just relieved I finally said something. His co-star, a consummate professional, picked up the thread seamlessly. They finished the scene, the applause came, and Mark took his bow, though internally, he was still reeling. Backstage fallout. The second he stepped off stage, the adrenaline crash hit. He replayed the moment over and over in his head, like a blooper reel on repeat. That was the night I realized how fragile your confidence can be, he said. I've done live television. I've done intense drama. I've done scenes where a dog is licking my face while I'm trying to deliver heartfelt dialogue. But nothing's as terrifying as a blank mind. Kelly, ever the supportive wife and co-host, reportedly gave him a half hug, half teasing pat on the back when he told her about it later. She was like, well, at least you looked good doing it, Mark said with a grin. From panic to perspective, for most people, this might have been a career-haunting memory. But Mark, in true Consuelos fashion, decided to turn it into a teaching moment, both for himself and for anyone who's ever frozen in the spotlight. His takeaway: you can't prepare for every single moment in life. Sometimes you're going to be caught off guard. The trick is to recover gracefully if you can, but at all costs if you can't. He started treating the incident not as a failure, but as a strange little badge of honor. After all, who doesn't love a story about the time they completely lost the plot literally and still managed to finish strong? The comedic reenactment. If you think Mark left the story at that, you'd be wrong. On Live, he's been known to reenact the moment for audiences, complete with an exaggerated, frozen pose and eyes darting back and forth like a cartoon character caught in headlights. It's way funnier now than it was in the moment, he said. Back then, I wanted to dig a hole in the stage and disappear into it. Now I'll ham it up for laughs. Kelly, of course, plays the role of the concerned co-star in these reenactments, rushing in with fake lines, like, "Darling, are you okay? Do you need a juice box?" Why? It resonates. What makes Mark's story so relatable is that it's not just about acting. It's about those universal moments when our brains betray us. Whether it's forgetting your wedding vows mid-ceremony, blanking on someone's name you've met 5 times, or sending an email to the wrong person. We've all been there, and while most of us don't have to experience it under a literal spotlight, the embarrassment feels just as intense. Your brain loves to trick you into thinking that everyone is judging you. Mark explained. In reality, people forget about it pretty fast. You're the only one replaying it on a loop. At 3 a.m., a new fear. Or a new strength. Since that night, Mark admits he double-checks his scripts obsessively and runs lines in odd places, at the gym, in the grocery store, while brushing his teeth. Kelly has walked into the room more than once to find him mumbling dialogue to the toaster. But he also says it's made him bolder. If I can survive a full-blown existential crisis in front of a live audience, what else can scare me? Not much. The moral of the story: Mark now tells young actors and anyone in a high-pressure job 3 key things. Don't panic about the panic. Your body's response is normal. Ride the wave. Improvise if you must. Even if it's messy, keep the ball rolling. Laugh about it later. The faster you can turn it into a funny story, the faster you'll move on. And maybe most importantly, wear a good suit. As Mark jokes, if you're going to forget your lines, at least look like $1,000,000 while you're doing it. The aftermath. Owning the moment months after the incident, Mark was still occasionally teased by friends and coworkers. But instead of wincing, he leaned into it. He even joked about adding recovered from on-stage existential crisis to his resume. He says it was a reminder that no matter how long you've been in the business, you're still human. And sometimes, the most memorable moments aren't the ones you planned. Mark sums it up best. Life isn't about never messing up. It's about knowing that when you do mess up because you will, you can still finish the scene, take a bow, and maybe even get a laugh out of it later. Oh, and always know your lines. That helps too.